Hey guys, as many of you know, I was born in Jamaica, so I tend to keep my eyes open on whatever is going on there. I still have family members that are close to me who still reside in Jamaica. Now, a few months ago, it was alleged that there were some cult activities going on in the Gambia, which resulted in the loss of life. It has been alleged that a similar type of cult activity has been going on in a church in Jamaica, led by a charismatic person known as Kevin Smith, allegedly. So today I'm going to be sharing a footage of what is going on in Jamaica at the moment. We live in a time when all kinds of madness is going on all over the world, and we need to be vigilant, as the very people that we trust can sometimes lead us astray. The fundamentals of most cults are power and control and the love of money. This is where money rituals are carried out. And I know of this to happen in many parts of Africa. And this is the first time, to my knowledge, that I am hearing anything like this going on in Jamaica. And, this is not to say that Jamaican people are perfect. No, we are far from perfect. But the thing is, I am not aware of any type of ritual or any type of cult emerging out of Jamaica. This is the first time that I've heard of anything like this. I personally knew of someone who had joined the cult, the Waco cult, and this person became caught up in all that was going on. What do you think is the kind of things that make people so vulnerable? So take a look at the following clip, and it would be interesting to hear your thoughts.
Very little or no real authority to stop anybody from carrying out a religious practice till they start to break the law.
There was a situation where a religious group, or what we describe as a cult, called in members from all over the island to gather at this location. During the whole process, some persons were stabbed by other members of the group. Persons went to hospital. Police was called in. When the police came, the police was greeted with gunfire from the leader of the congregation.
Behind us is the scene of a Pathways International Church, where we had an incident last night. A congregant here, a member of this church, who had been injured apparently when she chose to disobey some instructions given to her by the leaders of this organization, reported to the police that she had been injured, and other information that led us to believe that the persons here were at risk. We're aware that 144 congregants had been told to come here, to meet here. And on responding to that report from the person who was injured and coming here, the first teams of police that arrived were shot at. And so they waited on reinforcements to come. We were very concerned that some form of ritualized killing was going to take place here. And so we did an entry last night. We found that there were a couple of people who had been injured by other members of the church, and we secured the premises, held the people. I think there were about some 14 children, was it? 14 children there, and we have 31 women now. So we see that as a rescue of these children, based on what we saw when we came in, that there are cult-like behaviors and cult-like a setup that we have seen here. So 3 people are dead. How many do you have in the hospital? Right, and 3 persons hospitalized.
I understand that the scene here was almost like a gay scene. In other words, the colors were from the rainbow colors being used. I also understand that the pastor lived with 3 young men. Does the police have any information on whether or not he was grooming young men?
We don't have information on that at the moment, but we're following every lead in this investigation. As you say, early days yet, and we are, that is one of the threads we'll follow. We'll see where it leads us.
About the policewoman who was found, it is alleged that she participated in the shooting as well.
Well, we are also, we don't know that for certain, but there was a police woman here, and we are processing that as well.
What is to happen to the children who were found here?
Well, the courts actually are sitting, the courts open today at actually 10 o'clock. We have the CPFSA there and the other services, child services and so on, to determine what should happen with those children and perhaps some of the other vulnerable people in the group. So the courts are actually came and so this has been an effort of many, not just the police, but clearly, the courts are responding, the CPFSA, child services, all of the other entities are responding as well.
Are you concerned about cultist organizations that are springing up all over Jamaica?
Well, I don't know if they're springing up all over, but I am concerned about anything like this. Hopefully it was not the start of a wave of it. I don't see any sign of that. But of course it's a cause of concern.
Will anything be done to prevent this from happening again? Will you allow them to continue operating?
Well, remember, the police don't allow or disallow people from carrying out religious activities unless it becomes a crime. We have very little or no real authority to stop anybody from carrying out a religious practice till they start to break the law. But like anything that we consider a threat, that be a threat to people, a threat to the law, a threat to that, our intelligence people will gather intelligence and monitor those entities.
3 people or 2, I understand, died as a result of stabbing. Is there nothing on our books that would allow, for instance, the government to close this place down owing to what was carried out here?
No. After this event, yes, we can, but prior to that, it's a question of how you intervene. The whole question of the right to assemble, together and the practice of religion is raised, and it's something we'll have to look at. But from my understanding of the current legislation and the constitution, it's difficult to do anything to stop the events happening. I said there's some good thought in that one lady, I expect to see the trauma of the event that she was witnessing broke her the cycle of bipolar in trance, and she came out and reported on the happening. But the reality is a number of these things happen. There are maybe happening, but the police can do very little until something happens. I think this is one of the factors behind that. Police only act when they're criminal, and after criminality takes place. For children, you have the child services division, and they are active now in treatment of rehabilitative states. But that's the reality of our legislation. We have a very strong constitution dealing with the rights and evidence. Aspects of it should allow you to place more responsibility on individual being held accountable, but we don't have, I think we have not used that or interpreted that aspect of the constitution very often in the judiciary. What they call lateral responsibility of individuals. We may have to look at what legislation exists and if necessary.
Particularly for the parents as well?
Well, just for general individual responsibility, because as I said, especially as it relates to children and the accountability of parents.